Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director Patel. In a local situation, in Maryville, Indiana, within my district, I have a high-intensity drug trafficking area, HIDA, which receives federal funding. That works with the local law enforcement. We are the crossroads of America near Chicago. The drugs that you're talking about are transported through those areas all the time. With these budget cuts, can you talk about how those HIDA and agencies will be funded?
Hey everyone, welcome back to True Voice. I'm Andrew, and if you care about truth, accountability, and preserving the integrity of our democratic institutions, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because here, we're not afraid to speak up, ask the hard questions, and hold power accountable no matter where it sits. We're reacting to a hearing where Director Patel was questioned about several serious concerns, from drug trafficking task force funding, to cybercrime, to domestic terrorism, and even a quiet little scandal involving the Department of Justice requesting emails from FBI agents. Let's watch.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. It's like any other successful mission set that we have at the FBI. And HIDA, I worked on as a terrorism prosecutor as myself. Extremely critical because, like some of the other situations across the country, that region has been recognized, unfortunately, because of the high-intensity drug flow. In order to countermand it, we have to keep these task forces open, up and running, and funded. But in order to do that, we can't just flood it only with federal funds and federal personnel committed to working with our state and local partners, because that's what makes HIDA successful. My experience in HIDA wasn't in your district, but down in the Southern District of Florida, and I can't imagine it being too different in terms of how we proceed and how to make that successful.
Okay. My next question is, just recently, you had a visit to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Just please tell me how that cyber tip line and how that program's future looks with these $500 million cuts.
We actually partner wonderfully with NCMEC, and we've committed to allowing our FBI employees to remain there no matter what. We will find a way to fill that mission set, even if, even under the most austere of budget cuts, because what they do is exceptional. If people don't know, they need to go there and see it. It's right in Arlington, Virginia. They find missing children from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and they provide treatment to those that have been abused.
Okay.
And so you have my commitment, sir, that we'll do it.
I appreciate that. And according to the domestic terrorism operations sections, the internal tagging system used to track domestic terrorism investigations was eliminated, and the staff of 16 was reduced. Can you tell me that future and where you hold that program?
Sir, if I may, can I get back to you on that in writing, because I'm not familiar with that off my
Okay.
head.
Then in your written testimony, you had talked about cybersecurity. I'm going to tie two things together. The FBI agents, are they still currently at the end of every week emailing the 5 things that they've accomplished?
I'm glad you raised that point, sir. We never did that.
Okay.
I stopped
The
that.
FBI agents were never asked to put in their goals in which they accomplished?
The,
The reason why I say that is because I had a specific conversation at a retirement party of a chief from an agent who expressed to me that after he had chased a car down 8094 who had stabbed a family member, and he left his home and was able to prevent that individual from killing someone else because it was cross state lines, that he had to go back, and then that next day was told he had to fill out his emails of what he accomplished.
that email was sent across government agencies.
So it was sent to the FBI.
It was sent to.
So you just said it was never sent to the FBI. So was it or was it not?
It was sent to the FBI. I, as the director of the FBI, said we are not.
Who sent it?
We are not responding to it. It came from a general account at the department.
Okay, so then my next question is, that information that my FBI agent in my district sent to that agency, how is that information protected?
I'm sorry, are you saying the agent responded to that email?
Are you saying they did not?
I told the workforce not to.
But you just told me that they received the email.
We did.
So without this, let's just assume that they did. Where did that information go and how is it protected?
That information would have only been sent to their immediate supervisor, and every supervisor in the Bureau was told if they received any such information, it is not to be actioned in any way.
So what happened with that information with the supervisors?
I don't know. Well, I'll have to get back to you on that, if any was collected, but if it was,
So you said that the FBI, that a different agency sent that email. What was that agency?
it came from the Department of Justice.
Okay. And those emails never went back to the Department of Justice who requested it?
No, sir.
Okay. And you're 100% confident of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The information that the supervisors had from those agents, where did that go?
That should not have been transmitted anywhere. We got on top of it fast enough where I believe, and I'll
Because you
double
thought
check.
it was wrong?
I thought
Why did you prevent it?
because the operational mandate that we have at the Bureau, in my opinion, prohibited the public disclosure of that information across our media.
So to be perfectly clear, the Department of Justice got it wrong.
I'm not speaking for the Department of Justice, as I
You
said.
are saying that that directive was in complete conflict of what your procedures and processes are.
My procedures and processes are under the Department of Justice. I'm saying as a subordinate of the Department of Justice, that's where the email came from. I don't know where it came from on top of them.
But your directive was to make sure that the Department of Justice did not get the FBI information,
That no one got it.
except the supervisors. Why would they request it if they would never get it?
Well, the supervisors were told to stand down. What I'm trying to say is when that email came in, we acted as fast as we could, I think the same day, to say we are not in a position to do that. Everybody hit pause till we figure out what to do. And the end result was we at the FBI are not complying with that request to publicly do so. And we told agents that if you feel the need to express that information to your supervisors, only do so on the classified system.
Okay. The information that I received, that the personal conversation that I had, that agent didn't seem like he felt the need. He felt it was a directive. I thank you for your forthcoming. I look forward to working with you. The purpose of me bringing up this questioning was to make sure that that information is secure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
I'll
very
double
much.
check.
First, let's talk about the high-intensity drug trafficking areas, like the one in Merrillville, Indiana. These aren't abstract bureaucracies. They're boots on the ground, coordinating between local cops and federal agents to stop the flood of drugs killing our people. Director Patel made it clear, without real funding and partnership, these programs can't survive. And that's a problem. If we're serious about tackling the opioid crisis, budget cuts to these task forces are exactly the wrong direction. We should be doubling down on collaboration, not pulling the rug out from under local communities. Then there's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This place does miracles, finding kids decades after they disappeared. I appreciate Patel's commitment to continue supporting them, even if budgets get tight. That's a moral line we cannot afford to cross. Protecting our kids isn't optional. It's the most American thing we can do. Now this part should raise alarms. Staff who track domestic terrorism have been cut, and their internal tagging system was eliminated. This comes at a time when homegrown extremism is rising. I get that budgets are tough, but cutting back on tracking domestic terrorism? That's not just reckless. That's dangerous. We can't turn a blind eye to threats just because they come from within. But here's where it gets weird. Agents were being asked, apparently by the DOJ, to submit weekly accomplishment emails. Sounds bureaucratic, right? But here's the thing. These are being shared across agencies. That's potentially a breach of operational integrity and privacy. Patel insists the FBI didn't authorize this and told supervisors to stand down. And honestly, that's the right call. What bothers me is the confusion, the lack of transparency, and the fact that the DOJ would even request this kind of info. Why would they need agent-level updates from a field? What were they planning to do with it? And most importantly, how is that data being protected? These are questions that need real answers. Look, I respect Director Patel's honesty. He seems like a straight shooter. But the fact that these issues exist in the first place shows just how fragile our oversight mechanisms really are. If you care about law enforcement doing its job without political interference, if you believe in justice without secrecy, then you should be just as concerned as I am. This isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's keep the pressure on, and let's keep fighting for transparency, integrity, and real democracy. This is True Voice. I'm Andrew. Thanks for watching, and stay loud.